What's up guys, it is Mikeman Dgba here, your coach of the West Bromwich Altarias, and we are here today with the draft recap for Season 6 of the Dgba. This season, of course, the Dgba is split into two divisions. We are in Division 1 with all of the returning coaches, plus Non-Zero, who has come back from Season 4. Skipped out on Season 5 because he was busy. He's back for Season 6, replacing Zazo, who has gone to join the GBA D League. So he's replaced Dgba with GBA D. Personally, I think ours sounds better, but there you go. But yeah, so West Bromwich Altarias, we were the second pick in the draft. And then obviously second last on the reverse rounds. So second in the odd rounds, second last, so 15th in the even rounds. And that put me in a weird position because I'm not usually that high up. I've quite often been sort of 4th or 5th, never been second in the draft. So I didn't really know what I was doing going into this, but I pretty much told myself that I would be taking either Landorus or the Naganadal, whichever one was free, because I assumed that Hughes would take one of them, Hughes being the first pick with the Mold Breakers. I assumed he would pick one, and he did. He picked the Landorus, so I picked up Naganadal as our first round and our tier 1 pick. Can't be nasty plot or Z moves on the Naganadal. Anything else is fair game. Although I will tell you now, it is only here for week 1 because we did a trade with Coach Oak of the Icky Town Incineroar. It turned out, drafted a full monotype poison team, and he really wanted Naganadal, and considering I didn't have any strong gurges for it, I pretty much just picked it because I know it's a powerful mon. I said to him, yeah, that's completely fine. If you need this Naganadal for your team to work, I will happily do you a favour and trade it with you. So Naganadal is actually traded for Weavile, which is a mon that I've used a fair bit in previous generations. I haven't used it a lot in Gen 7, but obviously it's still a very strong mon. It's still a tier 1, and yes, it is a very strong physical attacker. So hopefully we can do some work with that. But for week 1, which is against Parksy, because of course it's always against Parksy week 1, we will have a Naganadal on the team. Then next up we have the mascot pick, our Mega, which is Mega Altaria. Obviously Naganadal is a dragon type, but I swapped with Coach Oak just before this pick, so we instead have picked up now Mega Altaria, which is going to be our main dragon, and of course once it mega evolves it is a fairy type as well, so it's part of the dragon or the fairy side of the fairy dragon steel core, which is always nice. Also, this is not a first turn mega league this year, so Mega Altaria can stay in its normal form if we want to help it take on poison types and and steel types, and also gives us access to natural cure, which is very nice because that means we have a switch in for status moves, and then of course once it does mega evolve, Mega Altaria is a very strong threat, either physical or special, as well as having the versatility to be slightly bulkier as well, with the likes of Cotton Guard, and I believe it also gets Calm Mind. Or you can go offensive with Dragon Dance, so lots of options for Mega Altaria. Our third pick was Metagross, something that has always been sniped from me in previous seasons, just before I went to take it. Apologies if you heard that. I just decided I needed a drink and should have done it before the video, but I'm very pressed for time today, so I'm having to do it now. So Metagross is something that I've wanted for a long time. Another very good physical attacker, very good potential for some late game sweepage with the likes of agility and the potential for Assault Vest. Sorry, not Assault Vest, for Weakness Policy. And I like running Weakness Policy Metagross, partly because it has some pretty good bulk behind it, with a decently high HP and defense stat, meaning that if someone has the likes of Earthquake for coverage, so like maybe something like, for example, I would run it quite often on Primeape in previous seasons as a coverage move. Metagross is going to be able to take that because it's not stab, go for an agility, get the weakness policy boost from the Earthquake, and he's effectively got two Dragon Dances up, and can then just smash everything. Or at least that was the plan, until later on in the draft I spoke to Hughes, and we traded Metagross, and we actually traded Metagross for Nidoking. So Metagross is here for week 1 against Parksy as well, and then it is gone, and we will have Nidoking, which is very good because it has another mon with lots of variation to it. Can be a good special attacker, can be a decent physical attacker, can be a rock setter, can be a lot of other things. It's an electric immunity, which is nice. It's a grounded poison type, one of the few that was available to us because Coach Oak took them all. It's a grounded poison type to soak up toxic spikes, but that bit not quite as important when you see what our next pick is, because our next pick is Scolipede. And then Scolipede is great. If you've been watching my videos for a couple of seasons, you will know that I hate playing against Scolipede. It always destroys me because you never know what it's going to do. You're pretty sure it's going to bring speed boost, but you don't know if it's going to be a spike setter. You don't know if it's going to be banded. You don't know if it's going to be life orb. You don't know if it's going to be leftovers and bulky. It can do so much, and I wanted to pick it up for myself this season, especially when I found out that Oak was doing mono poison. I assumed that Scolipede would be fairly high up on his draft order. I'm surprised I got it round 4, because Scolipede really has had the potential to be a key mon for him. So Scolipede is going to be great for us, I think. Very versatile in what it can do, and that's something that I like a lot in my mons. I like a lot of stuff that can be multiple things, so that your opponent has to choose which one to prep for, really, and really sort of you have the potential to catch someone out by bringing the set that they don't expect. So I tried to get as many mons that can do that as possible. Next up, we have Superior, which is obviously another very good special attacker. However, it is another one that we have traded with Hughes. He really wanted Superior. We've actually traded Superior for Celebi. So we actually got rid of a grass type, a steel type, and a psychic type, and ended up with a grass and a psychic type, and a poison and ground type. Because ground type was something that we really needed. You'll see from the rest of the draft, it was a problem for us. We didn't have anything really to take on electric types, and Nidoking, I think, is probably the best option we could have had under the circumstances. So Superior / Celebi are both two great special attacking mons with multiple things they can do. They can both be sub-leech seed. They can both be good special attackers, scarfers, specs, whatever you want to do, they can pretty much do it. So happy to have them on board. Celebi I like as well because it does have the potential to run U-turn, although it does have that 4 times weakness to bug, which is going to be something I have to watch out for, because quite a few of my sort of key offensive mons do have that weakness to U-turn. Next up, I wanted a fast electric type, and Raikou is available, so Raikou has indeed joined the team. Something that I've sort of looked at in previous seasons and then never quite gone for. Last season, of course, I started off with Zorora and then traded it in for the Mega Manectric in the end. I think the season before that, I can't remember what I had, but it was a 50-50 between that and Raikou, and then certain other picks sort of forced my hand. So Raikou is something that I'm hoping can be a big help to us. With the likes of Calm Mind, you have obviously a very strong Thunderbolt. You have the options for Aura Sphere. You have the options for multiple other moves as well. Can do Substitute if you want. Can actually roar out people, I believe, which can be handy. Good Life Orbit as well, and of course has Volt Switch, so can form part of a very nice core with Celebi and maybe a couple of other mons depending on what we draft. Next up, round 7, we picked Raikou's brother Entei, something that I've picked up before in a couple of leagues. Just a very nice physical attacker. Has a fair decent bit of bulk to it as well. Sacred Fire is a lovely move to have, as is Extreme Speed, as is the likes of Bulldoze and Stomping Tantrum. Both useful moves in their own right. I tend to prefer Bulldoze because of the speed lowering aspect. I don't mind it having slightly less power to sort of facilitate it having that speed drop. And when I have a fire type, I do like one with a bit of natural bulk to it. Just allows it to handle, well, not handle Stealth Rocks better, it just means Stealth Rocks aren't quite as devastating to them. And sort of trying to think of the word. When it has more HP, it doesn't quite matter that it's losing 25% to the rocks, because it still has a lot of backup. And I believe Entei does get Morning Sun as well, so you have the potential to gain that HP back. So 2 mons weak to ground there. Gonna have to get myself a ground immunity soon. But first up, we're gonna pick Mimikyu. I wanted a ghost type. This was pretty much the only good ghost type left. It's also a fairy type, which is going to be nice to have in case we don't want to bring Altaria because of I don't know, maybe because there's a lot of ice types or something, or other fairies on the opponent's team that we wouldn't want to have the Altaria here for. We have the Mimikyu, which can come in and be a pure fairy type before the Altaria has to Mega Evolve as well, which can be nice. Also has Disguise, which is a great ability, allows it to take any hit for nothing, which is actually quite nice to switch in for Z moves, because someone uses Z move, yeah, busts your Disguise, but you don't actually take any damage from it. Also a spin blocker, and it's always nice to have a ghost type to block rapid spin. And also has the potential for setting up with the likes of Sword Stance, and has priority with Shadow Sneak as well. So we have quite a lot of priority on our team as well at the minute, which is nice. But I really do need to sort out that ground type weakness. And oh look, we have picked ourselves up a Mantine, a nice water and flying type. so it's going to fly above those ground type moves. Also is a defogger to get rid of those nasty rocks. Does take a lot of damage from them due to that flying type, but has a lot of bulk to it, so not the worst problem in the world. So a good defogger has Roost, has Scold, and has Air Slash, which is probably going to be the main set every time, but you can also run Toxic on it as well if you would like to. Also has the potential to abuse any sort of, if the opponent wants to bring Rain, we can bring Swift Swim Mantine to help deal with that. Or if they bring Rain for any other reasons. Also could run Rain Dance on it to help counter any Sunny Day teams. Due to it, although being a water type, does take neutral damage from any solar beams due to the flying type as well. Next up, we go a bit off the plot. Pick up a Kling Klang. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about this one. I was kind of losing the will to live by this point in the draft because Parksy had taken literally all of my mons. So I kind of panicked and took Kling Klang. That's all I can say about that. And then finally, we have picked up the key member of the entire team, Crabominable. Yeah. I forgot my fighting type again, lads. And it was either Crabominable or Machoke. So we've gone with Crabominable, and hopefully it does some work. It's probably going to come against Parksy for the memes, to be honest. I'm not sure how well it'll do, but Parksy does have Landorus Therian. And wait, is it Therian or Incarnate? It has the one that's usually a special attacker. That's the one it has. That's the one Parksy has. He has that Landorus. So hopefully Crabominable can do some work against that. Also, Parksy has Megalopony, so maybe we can Focus Sash, bop a Megalopony. I don't know. But yeah, that is the roster for the West Bromwich Altarias. Well, at least for week 1 anyway. After week 2, week 2 and beyond, no Naganadao, no Metagross, no Superior. That will be Weavile, Nidoking, and Celebi. So yeah, I will fully admit, not the best team in the world. Not a lot of bulk in there, is there, lads? Not a lot of bulk. Quite a few offensive threats, so that's always nice. But at the minute, for week 1, not really any hazards, because I don't really want to bring Scolipede against this team. And there's one defogger in this team. Technically 2 at the minute, because Superior, but really it's going to be 1. There's going to be 1 defogger in this team. So Mantine will either come a lot, or we'll just have to deal with hazards as they come. This could be a long season, folks. This could be a very long season. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one. Hopefully we have enough about us to avoid relegation down to Division 2. That would be nice. But again, it wouldn't be the end of the world if we do, because personally, I play Pokemon for the fun of it. I play it because it's fun. I don't play it to be highly competitive and to beat everybody every week. And I think it'd be quite fun to be in Division 2, honestly, because there's only 10 people in Division 2, and that means a lot less people sniping your entire team, Parksy. Not that I'm mad, but fuck you, Parksy. But yeah, so hopefully our ragtag group of heroes can propel us safely into mid-table this season. I think that's about it for this episode. You'll notice, actually, before I do go, no Z users in this team. That is because I didn't know what to make my Z user. So, Z users coming soon. And by soon, I can tell you now, because I've already played 2 battles. Hint, hint. Week 3, look forward to Z users. Anyway, see you tomorrow for week 1 against Parksea. And then every other Sunday, well, not every other Sunday, every Sunday after that for the next battle in the Dgba Division 1 for Season 6.